4D Sports Talk broadcast is brought to you by Source Pumping, simply the best at what they do. You can reach them at sourcepumping.com. Bar and Grill of Taunton. They can be reached at medbarandgrill.com. Physical Therapy U. That can be reached at ptuclinic.com. And Clear Pond Park of Lakeville, Massachusetts. For more information, they can be reached on their Facebook page, Clear Pond Park.
As usual.
As usual, you know how I love this.
So I got some notes for myself.
Sure.
For some football games. So Stoughton won against Framingham 35-16. And so Framingham had a strong running back for some time during the game, but unfortunately it wasn't enough to get the W against Stoughton. So the defense of Stoughton got a huge red zone stop of the half when quarterback Jack Beverly hit Sam Stubbs on the right side, but Stoughton's Kamari Grant made the tackle short of the first down marker at the 6-yard line to prevent a touchdown. So the Black Knights had an early 14-0 lead in the beginning of the game, but Framingham cut the lead in the half midway through the second quarter and was trying to take the lead before halftime.
So Josh, do you have any insight on that game? Sounds pretty exciting.
It sounded like it. I didn't go to that one. Ryan Lanigan, who's the editor-in-chief of our site, covered that game for us. Stoughton is a team that's got a lot of potential this year. They're usually a strong team. They're usually a really physical team, and this year they've got a lot of talent coming back as well. They've got Christopher and Christian Ace, who are two running backs that played a lot as sophomores last year that everybody is really high on, and they, I think, racked up almost 400 yards or over 300 yards of rushing against Framingham, and so it's a good start. It's a game that I think Stoughton was expected to win, but it's a good way to get the season going for them, and they're a team that I think has to be watched out for this year.
Stoughton, huh?
Yeah, they're usually a strong team. The Davenport division for football this year is pretty wide open. North Attleboro and Canton shared the title last year, but Stoughton actually beat both of those teams last season. Stoughton handed North Attleboro its only league loss, and then beat Canton on Thanksgiving Day. Canton beat them in the regular season, which is why Canton shared the title, but Stoughton came out and beat them on Thanksgiving, so certainly the potential is there for them to have a big season. Milford, I saw them on Thursday night against Franklin, and they lost a lot of players from last year, so I wasn't really sure what to make of them, but they were very talented, and they're going to give people some problems as well. So when you look at it top to bottom, everybody knows the Kelly Rex division. You've got the KPs, Mansfields, Attleboro, Franklin are sort of the four that you expect to be right there in the mix, particularly KP and Mansfield. But in the Davenport, really top to bottom, it's anybody's game at this point, because you never know. Foxborough has the history and the numbers, because despite being our smallest school, they have something like 85 kids that try out for football every year, or that are on the roster for football every year. So they've got the numbers, they've got some talent. North Attleboro and Canton are both very strong again, and of course Stoughton is going to be right there as well.
So for the kids coming up from last year, I know both teams, lost a ton of kids. What do you think? Who holds the title?
So I think.
I know it's early. It's
it's very early, but
it's like preseason football.
Well, when you look at it, Mansfield won the Kelly Rex division last year, and they brought just about everybody back. They're loaded, and they beat BC High. I think it was 31-10, something like that last night. And they're a team that's just loaded with talent, top to bottom. Every position has somebody with experience and talent. They've got Vinny Holmes, one of the best linebackers in the state, but they've got Sincere Gill, Michael DeBolt, Nick Marciano. They're loaded on the running backs, skill positions. They're a very complete team. But King Philip is also very strong. They bring Ryan Halliday back. Their starting quarterback, Robbie Jarest, is back. So, it's going to be really a battle between those two teams. In the Davenport division, Canton shared a league title. It was their first league championship in almost 3 decades. And they brought a ton back. They brought everybody back as well. So obviously, coming into a new season, you just won a title. You sort of take that mantle as being the favorite again in that division. But like I just said, everybody, despite losing people to graduation, that's just something that happens in high school sports.
Right,
You can't
right.
really do much about that. But most of these teams really reload, which is what makes it fun to cover the league, because every year you're going to have a lot of competitive teams out there.
Sounds good. I mean, anyone else have any questions for Josh?
Yeah, but I actually got more notes
Go
from
for it.
Franklin versus Milford in football. I almost forgot. Stoughton beat Framingham. So did I already say 35-16 Stoughton, Framingham? I think I forgot.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's all right.
That-
35-16.
Yeah. That being said, Franklin beat Milford 34-27. And both of the teams combined for 61 points, including 40 in the second half alone. Okay. So the Franklin quarterback, Thomas Gasparo, threw 21 of 30 of his passes and completed for 293 yards and 3 touchdowns. 21 of 30, which would be 70% of his passes. Whereas Milford quarterback Colby Pyers threw 12 of 21, which is 57% of his passes for 325 yards and 3 touchdowns of his own.
Wow, that's awesome. Want to elaborate on that, Josh?
Yeah, I was there on Thursday night. It was
Cool.
a great game.
Cool.
It's a great rivalry game. Milford was, one of the last teams that joined the Hockomock as it's currently constituted, and not a lot of teams within the league knew much about them, but they're a neighboring town to Franklin, and there is a rivalry with Franklin that stretches back decades, which of course we weren't even aware of prior to Milford coming into the league. And so there is some animosity there, some bad blood that you would expect between two rivals. Obviously a lot of respect as well, since most of the kids know each other and they're probably friends and see each other outside of the sports and school. But it's a great rivalry game. It's always a great opening week game, and it didn't disappoint. It was back and forth. Both teams were able to get their offenses going, which is not something that you always see in week one. And yeah, it was also a lot of passing, which is something you don't see a lot in high school football, at least in this area. I think they combined for over 600 yards in passing, and credit to Milford. They lost a lot of their wide receivers from last year. Colby Pyers is a 3-year starter at quarterback, so they're experienced at quarterback, but I didn't really know what to make of their skill position guys, and they have a lot of talent out wide. Junior Carter Scudo in particular really stood out for them. He made a couple of great catches down on the sidelines, and he's somebody that is certainly a player to watch this season. And I think there's a lot of Milford may have lost the game, but I think they came away with a lot of confidence, and I think a lot of teams in the league took notice of it. And again, we talked about it being wide open. I think that there's a lot of attention that's being paid to Milford now after that loss, and for Franklin, it's a great way to get things going. They started off with a victory. Milford kept coming back at them, but they were able to hold on. They got the win, and it's a good way to start, because next week they travel to Andover, which is not just a difficult trip, let alone a difficult game. It's just it's a long trip on a Saturday afternoon. So it was good for them to get started and get a victory.
I'm going to remember that name, Junior Scudo?
Carter Scudo.
Carter Scudo.
Yeah, he's a junior this year.
That's awesome. That's all right. So we have just about 35 seconds left here.
Oh, wow.
Going
Okay.
to go into our first break. Want to take it in? Go ahead.
Sure, once again, if you want to call in at 508-222-1320 on WARA 1320 AM, we will be right back with more with Josh Perry right after this.
When you need your business to reach your target audience, let us help you get back into the game.
We do college recruiting CDs covering Little League Baseball and high school sporting events. We get it done right.
Of the game, the Trojans 60. Is end. Savior 1-3 for Bowling. Hits. Shoots, scores! McCormick scores again on the rebound.
Clear Pond Park in the town of Lakeville. This is our recreation facility, but here at the park, it's family fun and fun in the sun. We have a concession stand which serves pizza and hot dogs, candy, drinks, and ice cream. We also have a kiddie land for smaller children and a playground for the larger children. Also ball courts where we have basketball and volleyball. We have bathrooms over here, and also we have a lifeguard station, which is also services our first aid station. Main motto is cleanliness, safety. We have lifeguards, station 2 on the tower, 1 in the water, 1 on the raft. We have a 3-foot tower also on the raft, which is kind of unique to the park, and we want fun in the sun.
Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Does your back hurt after a long night's sleep? Has your mattress seen better days? Is your current bedroom furniture a mixture of different furniture sets? The Bedding Center, located on Pleasant Street and proud sponsor of this radio station and high school sports, offers a wide array of mattresses along with beds, bedroom furniture, and odd-sized mattresses and box springs. You can reach them online at bedding-center.com or by phone at 508-226-8090.
Hey everyone, welcome back to 40 Sports Talk here at the news station, 1320 AM WARA. We are here with the managing editor of Hockomock.com, Josh Perry. And Josh, I want to ask you, when you said like when teams lose players to graduation, do you think there's like a effect to their the playing when they play?
Yeah, I think there's certainly there's an impact if you lose a talented player. Of course, it's hard to fill that role. It depends, of course, on what position you're losing as well. If you lose your starting quarterback, that can be a tough transition. Again, a lot of these teams prepare for that. Obviously, you're aware if somebody's a senior that next year they're going to be gone, so you try to have somebody ready to fill that void. But it's hard sometimes, and especially for smaller schools. It's easier for schools. The likes of Mansfield, Franklin, Attleboro, Taunton. These are the big schools in the league where they have a lot of kids that are participating. So you probably have a wider pool of players to try to pick from, so you can find somebody to replace. But for a smaller school like Canton or Foxborough, you really have to take advantage when you have that group of players come in that's really talented, and when they leave, it can be hard sometimes to fill that void, as you see with. Canton, that was their first league title since I believe it was 1991, something in that neighborhood. So, it had been a while for them, and they have a very talented group that's there right now, and it builds momentum, and you're hoping that will, be something that will sustain them, that will build the program. But for sure, you look at a team like Mansfield, the number of kids that they brought back from last year's team, that's why they're considered one of the top teams in the state. And whereas a team like North Attleboro, where they lost a lot of their players from last year, there's a lot of question marks. And fully expect that they're going to be good again, but just because they've been good for so long. But it's tough. It's a tough transition. You're bringing in younger players, you're giving them their first varsity experience, and that can certainly make a difference.
Sure, and I know building up the momentum, like you said, plays a huge impact, especially on the coaches.
Yeah.
Trying to get everybody coordinated and getting the plays down, and
right.
especially communication with not only coaches and players, but quarterback.
Well, and you're trying to balance as a coach too, because you want to win now.
Right.
The expectation is that you're going to win now. There's pressure on you to win now. But at the same time, you have to realize that you need to sort of mix in the younger players, because they need to get that experience, because when the seniors graduate or when those upperclassmen leave, you need to have somebody who's ready. And if they've never seen a down of varsity football and they're not ready for the speed and the intensity of it, it can be a very difficult transition for them. So as a coach, you're sort of balancing that out too. You know, you're looking at your roster saying, okay, who can I bring up for maybe a game that we're up by a couple of touchdowns? Can I throw a kid in there and have him get a couple of plays just to get a taste of it? So it's certainly something that they're all thinking of, and you can tell with coaches, especially ones who have been around for a while, that that's always a consideration for them. It can't be just win now. It has to be also, let's look to make sure that we can sustain this.
Would that be like an expectation, like a coach gives to like younger players, like have them ready, like when the other upperclassmen will leave for graduation?
Yeah, and I don't think this is just a football thing. I think this happens in every sport.
Yeah, any
you know?
sport, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think this is something that you see it quite a bit, and I see it a lot more, I think, on the girls' side of sports, because underclassmen play much bigger roles earlier on the girls' side than they do necessarily on the boys. It's not often that you see a freshman, for instance, starting in a boys' soccer game, or almost never in football. Freshmen just don't play varsity football for the most part. But you know, on the girls' side, you know, you see freshmen step in and they jump right in and become stars, you know, first season out. Kaylee McCabe of Foxborough is a good example last year. Or
I remember her.
they're seniors now, but Avery Sneed and Chloe Lane of King Philip, they combined for something like 40 goals their freshman year, and KP went from like 2 wins to 12 or 13 their first season. They stepped right in and jumped in, and that's something as a coach you got to be aware of. You know, you know who your younger kids are, whether they're 8th grade or freshmen, and you know that they're coming through, and you can already sort of pick out who are the kids that might be able to fill in. And yeah, I think it's an expectation as a coach. You're looking at those younger kids and saying, okay, you know, so-and-so's a senior. I'm going to need you next year. You're going to have to take this spot. That means you're going to have to put in some work in the off season. That means you're going to have to be ready to go.
So the last football game that I have is Mansfield versus BC High, which Mansfield wins 31-10, which after seeing a touchdown slip through his hands, Mansfield's Sincere, is that how you say it?
Yeah, Sincere Gill. Yeah.
Thank you. Sincere Gill took the first handoff for 64 yards for a touchdown to give the Hornets a 2-touchdown lead to give Mansfield 31-10 win over the visiting BC High Eagles. How do you elaborate on that?
It's a very impressive win. Obviously, anytime you take on one of the Catholic Conference schools, there's a certain sort of edge to it. You know, the public schools want to win those games. You know, the concept of recruiting and all that stuff, I'm not going to get into it, but the public schools certainly, they want to win those games. And Mansfield, I think this year is, and I'm not the only one who feels this way, the Herald, the Globe, you know, most of the state rankings have Mansfield definitely in the top 10. I think they're one of the top 5 or 6 teams in the state this year. They brought so much talent back from a team that won the league last year. You know, this could be one of their all-time teams in terms of the amount of talent they have. And this was sort of a signature win, a sort of a statement that it's not just hype. You know, we're for real. And Sincere Gill had a good game last night. Michael DeBolt had a good game, had a couple of touchdowns. Jack Massett, who's a senior quarterback, but this is really his first consistent playing time at quarterback, which is not the easiest position to step into, certainly in that offense. But he looked very good last night against a tough BC High team. So, you know, it's the first game of the season. There are probably tougher tests that they'll have to face during the course of the season. Not least of all next week when they travel to Cincinnati to take on LaSalle in Ohio.
Whoa, really?
Yeah,
Really?
I mean, it's not a game
It's-
that's, I think it's a good test for them. It's one of those games where if you lose, it's not the end of the world, just come back healthy. It's basically
Right.
what we're thinking.
So
But
it's BC High traveling there?
no, this is Mansfield that's going out. The Mansfield likes to take one game and travel. They've gone to
Oh,
Maryland,
wow.
New York, Ohio.
No kidding.
Yeah, so it's a good
Wow.
test for them.
That's a good experience.
I'm not
Oh,
sure
that's awesome.
I'm not sure how they compare. I'm not really
Yeah.
sure how they match up to a team from Ohio. But in the end, it's a good learning experience and a good chance for them to, again, it's a good test for them to get ready for league play, which would start 2 weeks after. So, again, it was a good win last night. It was a good way to get things started, and I think it's a good sign that it's tough sometimes when you come into a season. The kids know. Everybody knows the expectations are high. Everybody knows that everybody thinks they're really good. So it was good for them to come out in that first game and sort of show that, yeah, we really are. It's not just talk.
Right, show them what you got.
Yeah, you have
It's
to.
really interesting that, Mansfield takes a game out of, a high school sports field and travels. I think that's quite a learning experience. Any kind of traveling is a learning experience.
Yeah, and Mike Redding, Mansfield's head coach, he's also the girls basketball coach, and they've gone on some trips the last couple of years as well. I think last year was Connecticut. They've gone to New York. They've gone to, I think they were down in Florida, down in DC one year. So he likes to. It's a good experience for the kids to get away too. It's a
Absolutely.
team building experience as much as anything else. It's good competition. If you win, it's fantastic. Draws a lot of attention. But even a loss doesn't hurt you necessarily, because it's not a league game. It's not a game that's really going to hurt you in terms of playoffs. It's just really a learning experience for the team. So
they're playing LaSalle?
LaSalle of Ohio, I don't know anything about them.
Wow.
I know they're located in Cincinnati, and that it's another Catholic school.
Yeah.
Beyond that, that's about all I got for you.
Wow, no,
About
I just
LaSalle.
think it's really interesting. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, well.
Is that the only school that
No,
travels?
Zavarian went down to New Jersey a few years ago.
Zavarian?
This was the Zavarian team that was, ranked nationally. They were just loaded with talent.
Yep.
And they went down to New Jersey and lost like 55-0, something like that.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, but that's sometimes we have to realize that sometimes when you go to take on some of these schools, that the level of play that we see here, while very high, isn't, it's not Texas, it's not the South, it's not, you're not taking on one of those.
Right.
We don't have 5,000 seat stadiums that people are playing in, so it can be a different level sometimes. So that's why I said the expectations are just go out there, learn, and come back healthy. That's the big thing.
Definitely.
Would that be like a building experience, like when, like if any high school kid that, for example, like Mansfield, like, would that be like an experience, like when they like plan on going to college, like play for a college football team?
Yeah, it's a good showcase for them. And Mansfield has a few kids that are capable of going on and playing at the next level, and not all of them whom are committed that I'm aware of. So yeah, I think it's a good showcase. You go out there and the scouts and some of these teams are a little bit more well known nationally than our teams are. So it's definitely a good chance to show the level that you're at, and show people that I'm good enough. I can play at that next level too.
Speaking of scouts, what are the scouts out there? Are they there like now? Are they?
For football, for sure. A lot of the other sports, they tend to focus on club teams.
Okay.
But they're paying attention, especially the local colleges. They're definitely paying attention. The Hockomock League, there's always college scouts that are there. It might not be obvious. And some of them show up in full college regalia,
right.
and some of them try to be a little more hidden. But yeah, they're certainly out at the games. We'll always see local D2, D3 schools. Their coaches are always at basketball and soccer and football games.
Sure.
So
I
it
was just
starts
wondering about that.
now. Yeah, they're definitely out there.
Yeah. Right, so we have just around 40 seconds. When we come back, we're going to have our sports master, Justin, run down some high school sports. Football last night, season opening for a lot of schools.
And I have the boys soccer scores as well.
Awesome.
And I'll have an extra note on something else too.
Excellent. So we are just winding down here. We want to thank Josh Perry, managing editor for the Hockomock.
Hockomocksports.com.
Hockomock Sports.
All right, here we go. We'll be right back right after this.
When you need your business to reach your target audience, let us help you get back into the game.
We do college recruiting CDs covering Little League baseball and high school sporting events. We get it done right.
Of the game, the Trojans 60.
Is end. Savior 1-3 for bowling. Hits. Shoots, scores! Hockomock scores again on the rebound.
This is Clear Pond Park in the town of Lakeville. This is our recreation facility, but here at the park, it's family fun and fun in the sun. We have a concession stand which serves pizza and hot dogs, candy, drinks, and ice cream. We also have a kiddie land for smaller children and a playground for the larger children. Also ball courts where we have basketball and volleyball. We have bathrooms over here, and also we have a lifeguard station, which is also serves as our first aid station. Main motto is cleanliness, safety. We have lifeguards stationed 2 on the tower, 1 in the water, 1 on the raft. We have a 3-foot tower also on the raft, which is kind of unique to the park, and we want fun in the sun.
Bear with me. You can take it back in.
Hey you guys, welcome back to 4 Deep Sports Talk here at the news station, 1320 AM WARA. We are here with the managing editor, Josh Perry of the HockomockSports.com. But first, myself and Justin will have the scores from this past Friday night. But first, we'll go with Justin. Here we go, Justin.
Okay, so I'm going to try to put some music under here, so bear with me.
Okay.
Go ahead, Justin.
Okay, now for the high school football finals. Greater New Bedford Vogue 35, Southeastern 0, Canton 28, Diane Rehoboth 0, Concord Carlis 34, Women Henson 21, Archbishop Williams 28, Quincy 0, Wesley 21, Whitman 6, Mansfield 31, BC High 10, West Bridgewater 21, St. John Paul II 0, King Philip 25, North Attleboro 7, Carver 25, Monomoy 6, Falmouth 35, Dartmouth 14, Scituate 24, Durfee 28, Marshfield, Marset Berkeley 22, Barnstable 20, Xavier 7, Milton 17, Bishop Freeham 7, Cohasset 21, Norwell 7, Tri-County 14, Case 28, Denham 14, East Bridgewater 21, New Bedford 24, Taunton 13, Coy Cassidy 28, Atlantis Charter 0, Aponquet 42, Middleborough 26, Duxbury 14, Brockton 27, Staunton 35, Framingham 14, and Franklin 34, Milford 27. And then
All right,
Yep,
sounds
that's
good. Catherine, you had something there?
Yeah, I got the boys' soccer scores from this past week. North Attleboro over Taunton 1-0. I actually was at that game. I did the scorekeeping.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
You can tell us a little bit more about it after
Sure.
the scores.
Milford over Franklin 3-1. KP over Sharon 4-0. Stoughton over North Quincy 6-0. Oliver Ames over Stoughton 5-0. Xaverian.
Zavarian.
Zavarian.
All right.
Bear with me, everyone. Zavarian.
There you
Zavarian.
go. Good job.
Zavarian over Franklin. No. Tied 0-0.
Ah.
And Foxborough over Mansfield 1-0. And the highlight of this is Milford Jr. Leo Coelho shot the team's first goal in the second minute, which would be, I think, an advantage for Milford's win. And then I got a shout out to one of the high school coaches, Eileen Donahue, head coach of the Watertown field hockey team, as she will be inducted into the National Field Hockey Coaches Association Hall of Fame at a ceremony in Lake Mary, Florida in January.
Wow.
She has a 662-32-46 record with 18 Division II state titles. In 2013, she was named the National High School Coaches Association Field Hockey Coach of the Year and was also named Top of the Circle U.S. Coach of the Year back in 2014. She first started coaching the Raiders back in 1986 and led the team to the first state title in program history. Since that time, the team has been powerful with 28 league titles and 25 sectional championships. And once again, congratulations, Eileen, on your induction. And let's head back.
All right, Josh, you kind of shaking your head there.
Yeah, they've been incredible.
Really?
Every single year, you expect Watertown to win. I don't remember exactly what their win streak was. It was certainly over 100 games in a row that they had won, and that ended just a couple of seasons ago. They went a few seasons going undefeated. It's just it's incredible to take a program like that and become so consistent year in, year out. We were talking earlier about graduations and how you try to make up for that. Even consistent programs have slumps because you still have to bring in new new players. You have to try to find new talent. And to their credit, they haven't. They've just continued to roll along every year, and I think everybody expects them to win the D2 title again this year, as they do every season. Similar to the Walpole field hockey, actually, in Division I is sort of that. Every year you come in and it's like, okay, who's the favorite? Oh, they are. So it's an incredible achievement to do something like that. Actually, Hockomock related this week, last night before. Pat Cawley, the Canton High volleyball coach, won her 200th match, and Pat is she's a fantastic coach. Canton has been really the top team in the Hockomock League for more than a decade now, and they've had King Philip has been good as well at stretches. Everybody's had Franklin was very good last year, but Canton just consistently year in, year out continues to be one of the top volleyball programs in the area. They consistently are challenging for the sectional title, and her 200th win last night, which is fantastic. She's also an official during the boys' season. She's she coaches clubs. She's been great to work with for us and the site. So congratulations to her as well.
I also heard about the Watertown field hockey team. They actually got a chance to play at Gillette Stadium one year.
Really?
Yeah. Did you know about that, Josh?
I didn't know they did any field hockey there. I know we've had soccer teams.
I didn't know either.
Yeah, we have two sides. Sharon and Canton are playing. I think it's Sharon and Canton are playing each other at Gillette Stadium in soccer this year, boys and girls soccer. So,
wow.
They've opened it up to opportunities like that. Obviously, football with the Super Bowls, we knew that, but I didn't realize they had done any other sports there. Usually it's football, soccer, and that's
right.
The only
my neighbor actually told me about that once.
Oh, that's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. It's good to spread it out to other sports because you're so used to just the football kids getting the opportunity to play there. So it's good to see that other sports are having a chance to use those venues. whether it be one of the big colleges in the area or, of course, Gillette, the Gardens, something like that. It's great to give a lot of kids opportunities to play there because, once you...
It's eye-opening,
Yeah,
I'll tell you.
it's a very different venue.
Step on that field, man.
Yeah, I'm a little jaded now because I've been there so many times, and covered so many games
Right,
there that,
right.
we don't think of it that way, but, to see the reaction of the kids when they get out, whether it's playing a tournament at the Boston Garden, because they have, they've opened it up so there's a weekend where they were playing basketball games there and different teams got a chance to play. Or Gillette Stadium, see the teams get out there and play and, just see the reaction. They're all trying to take photos, everybody. And, I'm sitting there going, what's the big deal? They've been out here so many times. It's great to see.
It's like Fenway Park also.
Same thing, I've been on the field there too, so it's like you walk out and, you're not thinking anything of it, but then you see the teams get out there and everybody's, sort of awestruck, and you have to remember just how remarkable it is to have a chance. Because obviously I never played there. I've just walked around and taken photos, but you forget sometimes just how great these experiences are for the kids.
Yeah, I've been on the Gillette Stadium fields before, and I think a couple times I checked out the Fenway Park field too.
Yeah, it's pretty
It was
amazing.
very cool.
Yep. So have I. actually got to sing the national anthem at Gillette and at the Garden, Boston Garden, for a Bruins game.
Really?
Yeah, that's
amazing.
When did you do that?
Oh, a while ago. a while ago. So fun. How about you, Justin? Have you ever stepped foot on any of the fields?
Yes, I have a picture in my kitchen of me standing on Gillette Stadium.
No kidding. Was it for a game or just checking it out?
It's a picture of me, my sister, and my friend, and we're holding a football in it.
Nice. Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity there for anyone to, with Patriot Place and the Hall of Fame. If you haven't gone to the Hall of Fame, it is amazing, absolutely amazing, especially when all the trophies are there.
Yeah, I haven't been to the Hall of Fame in like 4 years. Like, it's been a while.
You've got to see all the trophies. It is quite amazing.
I wonder how much it costs to get in. I hear it's like expensive.
I don't know.
I've only been once, and the ticket was bought for me as a Christmas gift, so I'm not sure
Nice.
exactly how much it.
Nice.
But I'm not a big Patriots fan, so admittedly, so
That's okay.
it was less of an amazing experience for me. As again, it was similar to going on the field and sort of living through the experience of the kids.
Right.
My brother-in-law is a huge Patriots fan, so watching his awe as he walked through the Hall of Fame, I think was the experience for me. So
Very cool. So you're not a Patriots fan?
No, not particularly, but
Okay.
I try to hide that. Just out myself, I think. but that's okay.
I gotta say something. My sister's husband is a Giants fan.
Mhm.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
He has a lot of those in the area. Steelers as well.
Steelers, definitely.
Rhode Island
They're
is filled
playing
with them.
Sunday night.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes. Oh yes. Opening season.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
So am I. Got my wings ready. So, what kind of fan are you, Josh?
I'm not a big football fan, so
You're
that's
not?
why. No, I'm more into
Interesting. Then you
soccer.
cover.
So, well, yeah, I mean, it'd be hard to. It's hard to cover high school sports and not cover football. So, certainly every Friday we're out there every Saturday. But yeah, it's not. It's not what I've been into. I'm more into soccer than anything else,
Really?
and basketball. So those are the two sports that I'm most into. But certainly I can cover anything and have covered a wide variety of sports. So that part of it's not an issue. It's just not. I'm not a big NFL guy. So.
So we have about 15 seconds left. I can't believe this.
Oh,
this
wow.
hour is
Yeah.
flying by. You want to take it out? And
Sure.
If anybody wants to call in, Catherine?
If you want to
Go
call in
ahead.
at 508-222-1320 on WARA 1320 AM, we'll be right back with more right after this.
When you need your business to reach your target audience, let us help you get back into the game.
We do college recruiting CDs covering Little League Baseball and high school sporting events. We get it done right.
Of the game, the Trojans 60.
Is in. Savior 1-3 for bowling. Hits. Pocket shoots, scores! Hockomock scores again on the rebound.
This is Clear Pond Park in the town of Lakeville. This is our recreation facility, but here at the park, it's family fun and fun in the sun. We have a concession stand which serves pizza and hot dogs, candy, drinks, and ice cream. We also have a kiddie land for smaller children and a playground for the larger children. Also ball courts where we have basketball and volleyball. We have bathrooms over here, and also we have a lifeguard station, which is also serves as our first aid station. Main motto was cleanliness, safety. We have lifeguards, station 2 on the tower, 1 in the water, 1 on the raft. We have a 3-foot tower also on the raft, which is kind of unique to the park, and we want fun in the sun.
Hey everyone, welcome back to 40 Sports Talk here at the news station, 1320 AM WARA. If you want to call in at 508-222-1320 at WARA 1320 AM, and you can also check out our YouTube channel at all one word 40 Sports Talk, and our website all one word 40sportstalk.com. We are here with the managing editor of HockomockSports.com, Josh Perry, as we talk about the fall sports that just happened this season.
And so just before break, Catherine laid down the soccer scores. So Josh is going to talk a little bit about that, but you also wanted to talk about...
Yeah. So I used to go to North Attleboro High School, and I usually do the scorekeeping for every home game for the boys soccer games and the girls soccer games, and it's a lot of fun. I love doing it.
Cool. Are you going to do it again, or?
Oh yeah.
This season?
Definitely. Yeah.
Nice.
That's pretty
Yeah, the boys soccer game was yesterday. It was a pretty good game. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I do a lot of recording for Bristol Community College in West Dartmouth, and the girls had their first soccer game on Tuesday last week. So it's very, very interesting because in the college area, it's, interesting. You know, start of the season and just getting a team together for college sports. It's not the same as high school, you know, so there's a lot of coaching going on, there's a lot of inspiration and learning, especially with the girls. And so interested in the boys coming up this week. All right, Josh,
it should be an interesting season for the soccer teams as well, too. I mean, again, it's not especially on the boys' side, we don't really have, in the past, you could point to 1 or 2 teams and say they're either the obvious choice to try to win a league title, or they're teams that really should stand out, not just in our league, but statewide. You know, really, Oliver Ames, for instance, has been a power in Division II. But this year it seems much more balanced. There isn't really a team that you point to and say they're loaded, they're going to make a run, at least on the boys' side. So it's sort of interesting to see how things work out. Now Milford won the Davenport title last year, but Wallison de Oliveira was their star player. Unfortunately, he can't play this year. Well, no, it was an age issue, so he's not eligible to play this year. But he's one of the program's all-time leading scorers and had a fantastic couple of seasons with them. But they're still loaded with talent, and they beat Franklin on Friday, which is a team that I think is in the running for the Kelly Rex title. So that's a good win for Milford to get things started. Foxborough had a good win over Mansfield, 1-0 victory there. Again, Mansfield being a team that a lot of people would expect to be right in the running for the Kelly Rex title again this year. And then North Attleboro getting a win over Taunton to start things off, another early penalty kick. And North is sort of prides itself on its 1-0 victories, so that's not unusual that once they got the lead that they were able to, kind of sit back and hold on to it. Although, it's not the easiest way to play, but they're very good at it defensively. They've got a very good goalie in Kyle Briere. So, North Attleboro is certainly a team that if they can get enough goals, I think can be right there in the mix for the Davenport. And Oliver Ames 5-0 over Stoughton. It's a great way to get things started for OA. I mentioned that they are typically a power in Division II. I think they're maybe like a year away from being right back in that mix again. They've got a good group of underclassmen and they're coming through, but they're not quite ready to take that leap yet. But a 5-0 win's a good way to build some confidence to get things started.
Yeah.
On the girls' side, it's sort of a year of transition for a lot of teams. Mansfield's been one of our best teams for a while now, and they lost 19 players from last year's squad, 10 of 11 starters. So, and they started this season yesterday against Foxborough, who's one of the best teams in the league, and they finished 2-0. Foxborough, as expected, dominated the game. They got the goals that they needed to win. North Attleboro is another team that has consistently been in the mix for the girls for the last couple of years, but again, they lost so much talent from last year's team that it's maybe a year of rebuilding for them to try to get back into it, although they got off to a great start because they won, I think it was 4-0 over Taunton yesterday to sort of kick off their season. So for us, King Philip girls, Foxborough girls are our sort of two teams that we're looking at for soccer, saying that they have a shot at not just league championships, but maybe being able to go and win a sectional title as well. They're both loaded this year. I referenced Chloe Lane and Avery Sneed earlier.
Right.
They're in their 4th year now as being two of the best players in the league.
Oh my.
So, the expectations are pretty high there. And, it's always fun to start the fall because our teams are always so competitive. The league is always so competitive in soccer. Top to bottom, everybody is capable of coming out and getting wins. And I know it's not your favorite sport, but it's, there's a lot of it's going to be a lot of fun because the games are going to be really close, and I think,
exactly.
Especially the way the North boys play, where they want to play 1-2 goal games, it makes for a lot of competition. So I'm sure I'll see you out there because I'm sure we'll be. I'm sure we'll be out there covering a few games over at Beaupre. So, especially now that they play at night under the lights, makes it a lot easier. I can actually get to a couple of them, which is nice.
Because North Attleboro, they actually got a new turf field was it last year? I think it was last year.
Yeah, it opened last
last year, yeah.
Unfortunately, the bleachers aren't ready for football, so the football team's going to move back to Community Field this year. But the other teams, field hockey and boys and girls soccer, are still going to be playing at Beaupre, still be playing on the turf, and it's a huge step forward for North, as you're aware. That those grass fields that they were playing on could be a little bit rough. You get rain, and 4 days later, and it's still just mud in front of the field hockey goal.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think the field hockey team of all the teams is probably the most excited to have turf to get to play on. So.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it's a good step forward. Now we just got to get the football team back over there.
A little confession for me. I feel a little jealous because I don't work that I apologize if I am stuttering.
That's okay.
Oh, that's okay.
I used to play on the field hockey team, and I actually wish that I would still be playing on the turf field. But every year we actually started the alumni game, like back in 2016. Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You see some old players used to play with.
Oh yeah. And other friends I can catch up with, yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
It's a little bit different playing on turf, right?
Yeah. It was actually like a lot of like running. Like I remember last year in the alumni game, I was sweating like crazy. Like it was a lot of running.
Field hockey on turf the game is played at such a different pace than field hockey on grass. Field hockey on grass is it's just almost a completely different sport.
Really?
Well, the ball just stops more frequently on turf.
Okay.
On turf, it's it's up and down and everybody's running. On grass,
Slows it down.
I hit it 100 miles an hour, but it only went 35 feet because it just stopped. In
Oh,
that,
no.
So it makes it a big difference. So I'm happy for North that they were able to finally get that turf. Like I said, now we just got to get football back over there. I know everybody loves Community Field, but if anybody's ever tried to take photos there, you don't love it very much. So let's get them back over to Beaupre where the lighting is good and we'll be all set.
We have about 3 minutes.
Okay.
So we're good.
Oh, we can't forget the shout-outs, birthday shout-outs.
Absolutely. Want to do that now?
Sure, shout out to Angela Ferreira, Justin's mom.
Yes, happy birthday, Angela. I'm
Happy
gonna
birthday again, Mom.
do up some music for you here.
And Uncle Steve. Happy birthday, Uncle Steve.
Uncle Steve is your Uncle Steve.
My Uncle Steve.
Yes.
Yep.
And so, happy birthday, Catherine.
Yeah.
Sort of
On
a
Tuesday.
belated, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to do cake and everything when Dominic gets back. Dominic's on assignment.
Okay.
He is calling the BR game? Yes.
Yeah, Bridgewater Arena and St.
Yep.
John's Prep.
Yep. So he's umpiring over there and refereeing and whatever he's
Oh.
doing. Yes, he's having a blast. I know you like this music, right? This is Stevie Wonder's Happy Birthday song. Too fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, happy birthday, Angela, Justin's mom, and your uncle, and you.
Thank you.
Related. So Alex, when's your birthday?
It's on February 9th.
February 9th. All right, so we got a ways to go there, right?
Yeah.
Just remind them so they can do the birthday shout out.
Absolutely. How about you, Josh?
August 6th.
August. Oh, so you just basically had one
Yeah,
about a month ago.
about a month ago. Almost
belated.
a month to the day, basically, yeah.
And Justin?
December 18th.
Oh, that's right.
So
Christmas.
I got almost 3 months.
It's all right, mine's in January. And we won't mention that. I know it's only a number, but you know what? I just so enjoy this. Anything else? We appreciate you coming in.
Oh, of course, anytime, yeah. Thanks for
A lot
having
of
me, it's
fun.
great.
Absolutely. Well, I'm sure we'll have you back.
Yeah. Probably around the same time as Justin's birthday, we'll come back in for the
we'll have
winter. I'm sure
cake,
Dom will recruit me for the
definitely.
winter, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it'll probably be winter preview time, so he'll have me come in back in
Oh,
for that
yeah.
too, so.
Excellent. Catherine, anything else? About 40 seconds.
Nothing at
really?
the top of my head. I just enjoyed it. This show today.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Justin, anything?
Nope.
No? Great job on the scores there.
Thanks.
Our sports master. Alex, we're streaming, we're doing well.
Yeah.
Sure, Dominic will be very happy. Very, very happy. And Josh, once again, we want to thank you for,
Thank you for having me.
being on the show. This is 4 Deep Sports Talks. Catherine, take it out.
So for Lucy Cabral, Alex Mayo, the Sportsmaster Justin Ferrer, I am Catherine Conley, aka KC. We will catch you next time. Everyone have a good week.
4D Sports Talk broadcast is brought to you by Source Pumping, simply the best at what they do. You can reach them at sourcepumping.com. Bar and Grill of Taunton. They can be reached at medbarandgrill.com. Physical Therapy U, that can be reached at ptuclinic.com. And Clear Pond Park of Lakeville, Massachusetts. For more information, they can be reached on their Facebook page, Clear Pond Park.
This has been a presentation of 4 Deep Sports Talk, where high school and youth athletics come first.